Yeah, welcome to the Brothers and Influence podcast, where we stand to encourage, inspire, and add value in the areas of life, leadership, and community. It is Saturday, February 19th, 2022. This is season 2, episode 3. Man, we just getting started. It is early, but we ready. My name is Ian Williams. I'm your purpose coach. And I happen to be shoulder to shoulder with an amazing guy doing big things, representing. You know what? I'm gonna stop. He needs to introduce himself because I can't do him justice.
I am Shawte Price. I'm a coach. And big things are on the horizon, as my brother said, as we are connected. And as our community grows, as our podcast grows, we just want to be uh, something for you to get some nuggets that you can apply to your life, right? Apply to your business. And we want you to join in anytime you're available, Saturday mornings, starting at 10. Jump in the chat. You know, if it's something you like, or something you want us to talk about, you've seen in one of our previous podcasts, shout us out and let us know.
Yeah, man, we just want to welcome you to the conversation. First and foremost, like Shante was saying, man, we're out actually streaming on a couple different platforms. We are currently on YouTube. Of course, we're streaming to the community, to the Brothers and Influence community, as well as the Brothers and Influence page. So, regardless of how you're connecting with us, we're just glad that you're here rocking with us, man, and we're excited about the work that's being done, man. So yeah, with that in mind, man, what's going on with you, Shante? What's up? How's your week been?
Oh, I had a good week. Good week. I can't complain. So the weather up here in Michigan, of course, Detroit, we had, was it Wednesday or Saturday? I think Thursday night. It started coming down, man. Man, it started coming down.
You mean
So
like
it's not,
snow? Or?
yeah, snow. Yeah,
Okay.
snow. It went down. Shoot, I pulled out my snow blower. When I got up the next morning, it's like I ain't did nothing.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Oh man.
so yeah, it was going down. But besides that, it's still a little started melting, Snow up here in Michigan, you can walk in, get your hair cut, walk back out. It's a blizzard, So that's how it is up here. But yeah, pretty good week. Uh, work is good. Mm, and life is good. Hey.
Hey, that's what's up, bro. That's what's up. Yeah, man. This week has been good for us. Also, man, we had an opportunity to step into a local private school for a career day. Both my wife and I, and share on what we do. And so we got a couple things going on as far as business is concerned. Um, my we have a coaching and therapy practice down here where we are in Indiana, and then we got a consulting practice or firm as well. They're really kind of two sides of the same coin, but local school asked us to step in and share about the coaching and therapy, and it was a good it was a blessing, man. It was a first for her and I, so it was tough because we both sharing from different
Yes,
perspectives.
sir. Yes, sir.
Sharing from different perspectives because she's a licensed clinical therapist, and I'm a coach. So we have to define and differentiate those two things specifically because therapy requires state licensure. It's clinical, and it can include or clinical diagnosis and things like that, which really is like in healthcare. Like when we say clinical diagnosis, it's the same level of seriousness as a doctor's diagnosis for something in the hospital, because it's really like it's state licensed. So anyway, but it was a blessing, man, and you know, I told her last night, I was like, you realize we went through all that, we didn't take no pictures or nothing, man. It's like we had it set up really nice, and I think it was really engaging for the kids. But ultimately, man, it's a blessing because it's another one of those examples of us operating in our purpose, being purpose driven folks. Um, we get to kind of work in the areas where we are mission pillars, or what should I say, like faith and family, and we got to share our faith, but also demonstrate what it could look like for partners, husband and wives, to do business together, and but also do our part to reduce the stigma around mental health and things of that nature. So, which is also always a conversation we're willing to have. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. So what's the so being that you kind of explained the clinical part, then how does the coaching? How did it? Because you did say it, but you didn't break down the coaching portion. What differentiates the two?
Yeah, yeah. I think I I always say what coaching's not versus what it is. But definitely, like it's not clinical, it's not licensed. Coaching, when you get coaching, you can be certified. Coaching is definitely a skill set that's valuable and worth being um, and worth investing in, regardless of where you are. Really, I would encourage anyone to kind of increase their coaching skills, but it more so it is where it's absent of diagnosis. It's really about asking powerful questions and working with an individual to uh, take them through on a journey of discovery. Right, figure out what uh, what their own answers are, in a way that doesn't rob them of their autonomy, but empowers them and helps them become aware of things that they weren't aware of previously. It almost sounds like when I explain it, it's almost kind of mystical sounding. It's like it's not. It's pretty simple. It just means that
Yeah,
I'm not here to give you answers, right? I'm not here to impose my perceptions and my experience over top of your own. I can give you advice and things like that, but I don't do it unsolicited. So if someone asks me, say, "Hey, I would like your specific," like I would clarify, you want to hear what I think before I offer it. But aside from that, I'm asking questions to just really help you rethink things, and really reframe your thinking sometimes, because it's easy to get caught into um, what, for lack of better phrasing, like loops of thought, where you're kind of stuck in this cycle, or you only see one conclusion, or you only see one opportunity, you only see one direction you can go, but really there's always multiple options.
yeah,
We're just not always aware of them, and that's just part of being human, right? And so we can kind of break that thought loop and say, oh, there is this thing that you're talking about that may or may not be wrong, but there's also this other option over here, and it's something that you can do today to really kind of help you get to where you want to go. So
right.
it's a beautiful process, man. I know, what do you think?
Yeah, and that's why I was kind of looking for because you when you because you're good at breaking it down, and I think is I always think about this song, right? Marvin Sapp, you saw the best in me.
uh
So he's saying you saw the best in me when everybody else around only saw the worst in me.
Ooh,
And
that's good.
as a coach sees the best in you, even when
Yeah.
you can't see it. And that the coach is there to pull it out of you, not to tell you what to do, not to not to give you the ABCs of how to walk up the stairs without making the stairs creak, right? Right. And
Okay,
but to pull out the best in you, not tell
man.
you what the best of you, but pull it out. And so that's why I asked that, Ian, because you're just so good at just pointing it out. Even though you were like, well, I tell it, I tell you by telling you what it's not. And that's a great way to explain stuff to people, right? This is what it's not to help people understand what it is.
I,
So yeah, coaching, and people, I tell people this. If you're coming to me looking for me to give you the answer, you don't need to be coached.
mm,
If you're coming to me looking for me to give you the answer, you don't need to be coached because you can Google and get an answer,
right.
right? But as a coach, I want to pull something out of you that's already there. You're just not aware of it. You ever heard somebody talk about potential and what you couldn't do, what you they people see stuff in you. You're just not aware of it at the time, but people know it's there, and it's all about getting that thing out of you. I could tell you to do something, and you can do it. But if you realize you can do something without me telling you, you're gonna really do it, right?
Come on, bro.
so 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 yeah, that's how then that's why I wanted that from you, because that's what it is, and people get it so confused, And therapy and coaching can both be good, but they're two different things. I
Exactly.
I believe that I don't care where you are. It isn't about, we have to get away from this. It isn't about you being crazy or nuts or any of this stuff. I don't care where you are in life. There's nothing wrong with going to a counselor, having a conversation, right? That doesn't mean there's something wrong with you, right? But a lot of times we need that outside voice to help us on our journey. You ever been somewhere and you just hear somebody speaking about something and it just blesses you, right?
Mm,
Walking through an airport, walking through a grocery store, and it just somebody talking. You're not necessarily paying attention to what they're doing, but it's just something they say that catch you, and it blesses you. And that's how it is oftentimes with a counselor, because they're there to listen.
right.
They're there to listen, and on that point, a counselor's there to listen too. But they're two separate things. But they're there to listen, to give you what you're looking for. So
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of thing. Like, shout out to licensed uh, uh, counselors, man, because I always like to kind of big my wife up because she has grown as a coach on her as well on her journey as a licensed clinical therapist, understanding that they are different skill sets, but a licensed clinical therapist can or a therapist can coach while they perform therapy.
yeah,
Um, and because it's all about like self actualization, right? Like you kind of pointed out there, like if it's one thing if I tell you how to do it, but if I help you realize that you knew how to do it, or that you're capable, more so that you're capable of doing it, it's all the more powerful, right? It's something that you can take a greater sense of ownership from. um and it's honestly like, you deserve the credit. You realized that you could do this thing and you went and did it. um, and so that's kind of what's so, I just, like you said, that's what's powerful to me about it. Um, and it applies. So you can, these are skills and things that you can develop, even when talking to your children and what do we want to be, if anything, but empowering to our kids.
yeah,
My son plays sports. He played soccer. He played basketball for the first time. And I remember kind of early on in the process, I would get so frustrated with him because I'm like, you are capable of so much more. Like, come on, man, get a rebound. You big. you can you can run, you can jump. Like, and so, but it's one thing for me to say it, but then it's another thing for me to kind of really coach him, slow myself down, right? Be, extend patience to him and help him to realize what he's capable of on his own. And, it makes all the difference.
yeah, yeah. That's, since you kind of shifted to kids. It's like, man, Aubrey, she's 4, and I think my wife has said, told her she'll be going to school when she's 5 or something, right? So now she uses that to say she can't do stuff. I'm saying, I was
Mhm.
like, baby girl, you don't say you can't. She's like, I can't do it because I ain't in school yet. I'm like, no, you that school has nothing to do with what you can and can't do, and attempting to explain it to her, and she gets it sometimes, but at other times she comes back with it. I can't do it because right. So it is just, if you can, one thing for sure, if you can do it with your child, you can do it with anybody, right?
Right.
Because with your kids, it's just like, they're gonna tell you no, they're gonna tell you this, they'll do that, and and it's just amazing, man, just the to see a child grow and develop and change, and it's the same type of feeling when you're coaching somebody, right? So that's kind of why it's that excitement, and that, not that, and it's not excited that I did it, because this thing is already in that person. It's just the excitement to see somebody grow, right? See
Right.
somebody develop, see somebody realize that they can do it, you know, themselves. I did this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had this coach, and they walked me through some things, or we had conversations, or they gave me some things to do to kind of understand who I am better. But at the end of the day, they did it. And it's just that same type of excitement as a kid when you see your kid growing and learning things and realizing that, yeah, dad, this is this and this is that, or I can read this, or I got my numbers and I know my ABC. So so yeah, when you bring the kids in, man, it's just amazing. It's that same type of feeling. And it's just so exciting to be able to, when that's your passion, that just adds to you, right? For
Right.
that next level, that next step. So
Yeah, man, it's a beautiful encouragement, man. Man, it's a couple of ways I want to go, but like whenever I just becoming a parent, really, like with my son, he's 6 years old. Of course, he's growing like what we say. He's growing like a weed.
mhm.
He looks probably 7 or 8, close to 8 in some circles. But man, I just remember watching him grow as an infant and like what we would describe as those milestones. And how I can be honest, like I had some little parental anxiety at different times, like, oh, is he developing fast enough? Is he gonna get it? When is this supposed to happen? And like, there's numbers out there and certain mile markers as far as months and some in 6 months, this is what they're supposed to be doing. And like, oh, if they're not doing it, what's happening? Did I do something wrong? Am I not doing enough? And I, but anyway, I would just watch him, man, and he would just grow, and regardless of whatever the time frame was, he got it. he he eventually got it. Whether it might have been something like, they're supposed to be able to roll over and lift their head, and then they're going to start doing this, and they're going to start. Man, it's like wow. Um, and I didn't have to like. It's when you're working with a kid, like you don't really have to push them or make them like. If they just grow, they just do it. Of course, you do your part to help encourage and put them in a position to succeed, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they just grow and you realize, like I realized that like so much of that didn't have anything to do with me. I might have, you know, laid him on his belly for 15 minutes and just let him figure it out. But like he did the work.
Yeah.
He did the work, and it just amazed me. But it inspired me so much, like watching him grow. It just made me want to keep growing. Like it made me recognize what I was capable of, and now as an adult, like I have to do my part to put myself in the position. If I need to work on something, I need to lay on my belly 15 minutes, whatever that might look like. And then you know what I'm saying? Like just as an illustration. But like man, and then there's another perspective, like, the way we look at our kids and like we're exercising patience and we're trying to tell them, what they're capable of and remind them of who they are. And we're dealing with our frustrations because maybe things they ain't hearing us like we want to be heard, or maybe we're not communicating it well enough. And then that makes me think of our relationship with our heavenly Father too.
Yeah.
Like the patience that he exercises with my knucklehead boy. He's just trying to tell me like this is who you are. You are capable. You can do these things. And I'm like, man, usually what, I remember growing up, my mom told me at some point, like one thing she knew about me is like I would be hesitant to do something that I thought would be difficult, but by the time it was over, I would look up and be like, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
It's like how we make mountains out of molehills. Um,
Exactly.
and that's kind of what the coaching process is like, to really kind of break that mountain down and walk you through like, man, hey, this ain't that really it ain't that big. Like you're amazing. I believe in you. And sometimes we need to borrow the belief of someone else to really get over that hump. Um, I was talking to a brother the other day, and we were actually standing in this circle with kind of like some colleagues and business partners we've been working with, and everybody was like, "Oh man, you should do this thing." And he was like, "Oh man, I thought about it, but I just be wondering, like, do I communicate clearly enough? Like, what if my style is just too such and such for to be in this space to do this sort of thing?" And and it was like I'm sitting here listening, so I fell back. I'm listening, and another person was like, "Yeah, Kenny, or yeah, bro, I think you'd be great." And another person was like, "Man, you can really do that, man. I think you'd be excellent. That you could speak to this group here and reach this person here, and they would never." And he was like, "Man, I hear you, but like," and I said, "Wait, wait, 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 wait. We, Out of this group of 5, you got 4 people telling you can do this, and you're the only one saying that you can't. I just wanted you to. I just want to point. I just wanted to point.
Point it out.
Yeah. So we choose like we got a majority like we believe in you. You are capable, more than capable of doing this thing. Sometimes we need to kind of borrow some belief from each other. And
Yeah,
so that's the beauty of the community, bro. That's the essence of the Brothers and Influence community too, right? That's the heart of it.
exactly. And because you can do more together than you can on your own, right?
Mm,
That's pretty much. And that example you was given with the guy, he's in that circle, but he's letting his noise drown out everybody else's voice. That's the
right.
problem. He's hearing them say this, but just as quick as he hear them, what he's combating it. The noise is combating now. So so I just think about it as a wrestling match, right? The guy comes out, he's like, you know, I do this, I'm the man, I'm finna, and then he gets beat up. Everybody thought he was finna do it, he gets beat up. And that's what it was with this guy. He's hearing everybody saying he can do something, and he's just coming out beating that beating that truth down, beating that truth down, right?
Right.
Body slamming them, coming off the ropes on the third guy, right? So it's like, no. But then you came in with perspective. I think
Yeah.
that's the key. You came in with perspective. Like, hold up. Let's calm the noise period down. And let me tell you, you have 5 people, and 4 of them are telling you you can do something. Think about it, right? And that's what coaches do, right? Coaches,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna tell you you can do something. Let me help you with the perspective of what's going on. Because these people ain't telling you it because they met you today, right? That's the thing. They
Mm,
ain't telling you this because they met you today.
come through.
That ain't why they telling you this. They telling you this right now because they know what you are capable of doing.
Exactly.
But you're fighting the noise. And that's kind of one of those humps that coaches help people get over.
Right.
There's in Think and Grow Rich, it talks about the forget exactly what, but the fears, and one of them is the fear of success. Everybody talking about the fear of death is the highest thing, or the fear of public speaking, but people are sleeping on the fear of success. The
Mm,
fear of success. It's fearful to be successful. Why? Who wouldn't want to be successful? Just think about just anybody that's on a journey of success. Just think about the off how often you sabotage yourself,
okay. Yep.
right?
Talk about it,
You
bro.
self sabotage yourself, not because you're not capable of doing that thing. It's your the fear of success. It literally, it sounds funny. Who would be fearful of success? But and we see it even in movies. They don't call it the fear of success, but we see it in movies. People self sabotage their careers because they're afraid, even though they're capable of doing that thing. They might have the degree, they might have the experience, they might have everything they need more than the guy that has it now, and they self sabotage themselves to getting to that point. And so we have to. That's what coaches help people do: gain perspective, have a clear mind on what they want to do and where they want to go. Because coaches help you get from where you are to where you want to be. So if a coach isn't getting the information they need from you, if they're not saying, okay, what do you want to do, or where do you want to be? Because I can't coach you if I don't know about you. I can't coach you if I don't know your goals and your vision and your values. I can't coach you.
Right.
But once I have those things, now we can start that journey to getting you to where you want to be, and helping you stop self-sabotaging where you want to go. I can't. I don't think I don't think I'll do it right. Sometimes you just got to do it. Now, me personally, and I'm good. I'm really good at on the spot stuff,
Hmm.
but that's not great for the field that I'm in. I shouldn't. I can't just call a client, don't prepare, and say, and then try to coach them. That's not good for the field I'm in. even public speak. That's not good. I'm good at it. I'm telling you right now. I'm good at have taking a subject and rolling with it,
Hmm.
but I'm best at preparing and doing. And that's just something I had to learn, right? That's something I had to learn that guess what? You can't keep going on in life like this. I'm good at preparing, good at being ready for things. And I'm better at preparing and being ready for things.
Hmm.
But on a drop of a dime, I'm good too. But I shouldn't live on a drop of a dime. If I want to be the best I can be, it's about preparation.
Come on.
That's the type of success I want, and I want people that I come in contact with to have. So
That's dope. And you know what you just shared is really good. I mean, we definitely got to put the work in, bro. We definitely got to put the work in. But I think once we find our lane, the work is not as difficult.
yeah,
Really. Which is it seems simple, but like that's really a game changer. Like when you're outside of your lane, that's when the work's gonna be hard. That's when the work's gonna be miserable. That's when the work, you know what I'm saying? But when you find your lane, that's when the work becomes about your growth and your development, your learning in a positive way, right? I'm just building on what's already great. Um, which we talk about, right? As coaches, like, you know, if someone comes to us, or even if we're self-reflecting or talking to each other, like, okay, I've got this shortcoming, and traditionally, I think we focused on the shortcomings, like, I got to get this shortcoming fixed so I can be good all around. But that's not really realistic. That's a sure path to a lot of frustration, and because what it is like, if you're genuinely weak in an area, um, trying to develop that or turn it into a strength is virtually, I don't want to say impossible, but it's like a really hard road. You're gonna it's gonna be harder to do that. But if you instead focus on your strengths and say you double things that you're already good at, that's a sure path to being great, and it's a lot easier to do. Um, so what you want to do is kind of neutralize those weaknesses, right? And you can do that a number of ways. You can, of course, develop yourself to the point where, like, hey, I might not be helpful in this specific area, but I'm not hurting in this specific area.
yeah,
That's one thing that I would encourage anybody to do. Okay, and that's something I try to practice. I'm not necessarily hurting myself. I'm not hurting the team because I fall short here, but I'm not. You know, I'm no longer hurt. I'm no longer holding us back. But then also community, life leadership and community, brothers and influence community, surrounding yourself with people who make up the difference, but align with you value wise, right?
yeah,
And so, and that's what really allows us to do more together than we can do on our own. So we get out of our own way, neutralize the weakness, and then surround yourself with people who are great in the areas where you're not great. Because this journey is not about being perfect, right? None of us are going to be perfect, and I think if we we'll save us ourselves a lot of time and energy by letting that idea go, of being this perfectly rounded, great at everything. And if you feel like the somebody out there that's operating that way, trust me, it's an illusion. Is what they're good at or what they might be perfect at is presenting themselves a certain way. But there's no human being on the planet that's perfect.
that's right. That's right. The something you said it made me think of Think and Grow Rich book again though. But with Henry Ford in the book, Henry Ford, he has a story about Henry Ford, and think it was a newspaper or something po- uh printed an article saying that he was stupid or something like that. But anyway, so he sued him, and then they in the book they're saying he sued him, and then went to court, and they're asking him a question about something that he don't know about, and he was like, basically he said that why would I fill my head with useless information when I can push a button on my desk and get the answer? And so basically he was saying that guess what? Those are my weaknesses. I don't need to focus on them.
Right.
My strength is building this company, this Ford Motor Company, and doing the things I need to do. I can
Right.
push this button in and call an engineer in here at any time and get the question answered. You know what I'm saying? And so I kind of, when you talked about weaknesses and strength, and people, we that's just something we have to come to understand, that like you might be a great communicator, you can do a great speech, da da da, but you can't write worth of nothing. So guess what? That's a weakness.
Yeah.
You're just a good orator, but that's a weakness. And guess what? You pay somebody else to write it for you. You know the concept or the idea that you want to relay. You pay somebody to write it.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that, right? But
That's
guess
true.
what?
That's real.
You gonna sit around. You gonna spend hours and hours trying to write this perfect speech or whatever you want to do, when you can be doing more beneficial things with that time. And this person over here that's great at writing, you give them the core concept of the message you want to develop. Hey, write that. They write it, you review it. If it fits or you need them to change something, that's what you do.
Right.
And to be successful, that's what we have to do. We can't do it all on our own. We got to get back to community. And that's why we're building this community, Brothers and Influence community, because uh we want to be able to have those conversations, right? Life, leadership, and community. Purpose-driven entrepreneurs, that are willing to share some of their experience with others to help them not fall down those same pits that they
Right.
have on their their journey, right?
Right. Right. And, we all have certain things that certain areas where we've fallen short, right? We've made the mistakes, and we can certainly share our wisdom. But I think that one of the things that helps us to really believe in this community, really in this idea, is that we've also benefited from hearing about others people's journeys, um, whether it was consistent or inconsistent. I'd say for me, it's been roughly inconsistent, and part of that is probably me. Maybe I didn't tap into certain resources, mentors, as much as I should, or I currently don't. But at the same time, like people are busy, and there was no there's nothing like this that exists. There's not a community that you can exist in as a purpose driven entrepreneur, as a brother, and just say, hey, what's going on? This is what's happening here. I could use some support. I could use some encouragement. But that's what this is specifically designed to do. And it's not just for business, but it's for all your overall your life, leadership, and community. We kind of say it that way because we mean it to be a holistic thing, right? It's not just a certain section of your life, but if you are someone who is newly married and wants to, get some encouragement as a husband or father, hey, the community's gonna have there's somebody in the community or multiple somebodies in the community that can really encourage and support you there. If you're single and you're on a journey of just trying to figure out how to get your life stable and ready and prepare for the next season of your life, or even if you're content in that season of your life and you just want to focus on doing some things there, hey, we got some support for you there. And then as far as the community is concerned, just like connecting with like-minded individuals is it's not as easy today. I'm not sure how easy it ever was, but finding your tribe in essence, right? We are a tribe, and if you're hearing the things that we're talking about and it resonates with you and you vibe with us, rock with us, then hey, maybe this is a tribe you can join. Very little heavy lifting, man. We're not asking you to do a whole lot. We're just asking you to join and communicate and connect. And I think a lot of it will develop naturally. A lot of the relationships, the connections, the encouragement is just going to come from a very natural place because it's at the core of who we are.
Yes, sir. Community. Uh, hey, my community is my brothers. That's part of my community, right? This last year, you know, been rough. Just be honest, been rough. And but just to have some brothers that I can communicate with, that can encourage me uh along the journey, it's been awesome.
Yeah.
And uh Sherrod, he's not here today. He's got some family business. I think his daughter's at a track meet, I believe.
Yeah, man.
And
It's track star.
so yeah, so shout out to them. Lauren, right? Is it Lauren?
Lydia.
Oh, lady. Shout out to her. She gonna be successful. And but yeah, it's great to have individuals, uh, a community that you have access to
Mhm.
in time of need, right? And it isn't necessarily about something big or small. It's just that you have access, right? I can share something. I can send a text like, man, it's a rough day. It's encouragement. So it's the same, but same thing with the community. That's what we want to build. We want to build a a all access community where no matter who you are, you can reach out. You can share, right? We all have experiences to share. Most of us, most of the journeys that we start are based on passions we have, but also coupled with experiences that other people have had. So
Yeah, man. And what are the big things is like promoting healthy community, not just not just getting together and talking jive, as the old folks used to say, but like, if we're looking for support, um, I can think of some times where I've received some unhealthy support, and and so this is one of those areas where I think we do well to prepare. It's just like really digging into what it looks like to bear another person's burdens, and what does the language around it look like, we can we can ride out with you, but ultimately, like, where are you at emotionally, mentally, spiritually? I think that's one of those things that kind of sets us apart, is that we can have real conversations around um, things like emotions that are sometimes foreign to spaces that are reserved for men. And so I think it goes a long way, man. And hopefully, that it's a trend that spreads. If we can, this is one of the areas that we want to influence. Um, Hopefully that trend spreads, and this that sort of healthy relational connection, healthy conversation, promoting, uh, can go outside of the group, can go into homes and go into schools and so forth and so on. So I mean, we have a pretty grand vision as far as what we feel like we're called to, and so we're just inviting you to be a part of it and contribute. Right? We're not here to stifle anything. There, if there's probably brothers out there that are meant to join this community, there are brothers. I'm not going to say probably. There are brothers out there that will bring something to the table that we not haven't necessarily thought of, or more or less not because we haven't thought of. Maybe we just haven't had what we needed to bring it to the table. Maybe this is a strength of yours, and we want to create a space where we're like, hey, if this is going to uplift the community, this is going to further the cause, then we want to welcome it in. Is it purpose driven? Is it God given passion, rooted in God given passion? Then those are things that we're really open to and excited about.
yeah, the especially the mental aspect, and we just got to be honest about it, right? Especially with the pandemic going on, right? There's
Mhm.
stress is high, right? Uh, Kids getting on people nerves, wives, husband getting on people nerves, right? Let's just be honest, and but there we have to engage our mental health. That's a must. If we're talking about us being great fathers, or someone being a great mother, or a great person in the family, we have to address our mental health. And so that's something that all of us brothers in the the brothers in influence community, we're passionate about one's mental health. Because if you can have the greatest body working out, the greatest job getting, where you don't even have to work. The business is running itself. You can do whatever you want to. But if you're not healthy mentally, that stuff means nothing. And we always want, that's always a part of our conversation, right? Our mental health, which is very important.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's real out here, bro. And I think that we kind of put ourselves behind the eight ball as a community because we're not versed in these areas. Um, I know that I say that from experience. Right, there was a lot of years where I just wasn't familiar. I wasn't very mindful. When we say mindful, we mean like present and aware of how we are emotionally and mentally functioning at any given time. Um, and if you're not aware, I mean, you can imagine like that's going to come out in how you interact with the world around you, including the people that you love. Um, and there are various factors, right? Of course, I have my own shortcomings personally, but then there's the environment, things that I can't control. But I think that I've come to a place as I've grown in this area that I'm able to respond, especially to external things, a lot better than I have previously in previous years, and then also just being able to self lead myself well. Right, so much of what we talk about is self leadership. If you're not aware of where you are mentally and emotionally, you're not going to be able to lead yourself well at all, right? You're gonna live life reacting to everything, um, and that's not a good place to be in, especially when you're responsible. And that's responsibility comes with a level of weight that could really exaggerate a lot of issues if you're not careful. Being a father is no joke. Being a husband, being committed in covenant relationship is no joke. Um, so it's better to be proactive, right? I think Shantae was talking about preparation earlier. Man, that cannot go understated when it comes to marriage and kids. You can't. I'm not saying that like you're gonna have the answers, but like work on yourself, people. work on yourself, fam, because them waves gonna come crashing, and you may not know how to handle it. But if you gird yourself up with the word, you know, work on being mindful and aware of how you're functioning because stuff gets hard and we all find different ways to cope. And if we're not paying attention, we're gonna be somewhere doing something that's not healthy or helpful to us or those people that's supposed to mean the most to us. And the difference there is really intention, right? If you're falling into a habit versus choosing to blow off some steam, with purpose. There's a difference. It's like the difference between getting up and going to the gym and getting blowing off some steam, exercising, and grabbing that carton of ice cream and knocking that thing off. Usually, by the time you knock that knock that carton of ice cream off, you look up, you're like, "Man, I didn't even realize I ate all that."
For real, for real. But that, and I don't know if you remember last year I told you guys, like, uh I felt like, how did I say? I said I felt like a great dad but a bad father. I don't know if you remember when I
I
brought
remember,
that up.
yeah, bro, I remember that.
And and the reason I said it was because, going back to actually just what I just said, just pandemic, being stressed, and you know what I'm saying, maybe even a little depressed and all that stuff. And I found myself snapping at my daughter.
Mm,
And it just dawned on me, it's like, what are you doing? She's a kid and da da da. And it's like, and uh one thing I really like is the filling wheel. The filling wheel, and how, because if in general, people just, we just used to saying we angry, we mad,
right,
upset, just the basic little things.
right.
But looking at the filling wheel gives you a broader perspective of your feelings
Yeah,
and how you really feel. And it helps you to process, right, your feelings, and so mentally you're able to because if you're Ian says about reacting, right? Generally we're just reacting when we don't have control of our feelings, and We're just reacting to situations. And that's what I was doing. I was snapping at my daughter because I was just reacting to her, a
Right.
child. She's 4
Mhm.
now. So you got to think this is a year. So she was, you know what I'm saying? And so I had to, reassess, okay, what's going on with me? Because it isn't her. It most definitely isn't her why I'm doing what I'm doing. She's a kid. So I had to reassess what was going on and look at myself, right? And physically, mentally, what's going on and make that adjustment. But kind of back to the feeling wheel with all these feelings, these 20 or 30 feelings, which gives you a broader perspective of how you react or how you act out
Come on.
uh, uh, when situations are on your shoulders, right? I remember this movie. I can't remember what the movie was, but it was like the girl had died in the movie, and basically she was sitting on the guy's shoulders. And that's what I think about when we talk about stuff uh uh that's going on in our life. It's just sitting on our shoulders. So you imagine you happen to my daughter's 4. Of course I can put her on my shoulders, right? But how long can I really put her on my shoulders and walk around? Honestly. Not too long. I'm gonna want to take her off, right, and sit her down.
Right.
But stuff in our lives, stress, things that are stressing us out, situations that happen at work, in the family, those that it's weight on our shoulders. And if we don't know how to recognize it and then deal with it, it causes us to have reactions to simple things in life, like my daughter yelling at a child
Mhm.
because I'm not dealing with these things, right? so so man, it's and it just gets back to that mental, right? Taking care of ourselves. Very important. And it gets back to the community. That's part of why uh we created this group, this community, because we want this to be an outlet uh that we can freely express ourselves,
Mhm.
right? Freely express ourselves or freely, and it takes time. We get it. It takes time, right? Ain't no one's finna jump in a group and just spill the beans. It takes time. However, we also we have to be engaging. In a community, in a family, you have to be engaging, right? You
Mm.
have to talk to folks. You have to introduce yourself. If you join the group, we want you to introduce yourself. We don't want you we don't want it to be another group in your long list of groups. If it's just going to be another group in your long list of groups, you don't have to join, right? But if you join this group, we want you to be engaging in the group. Introduce yourself. Who are you? So we can introduce ourselves. So that starts the journey of us getting to know each other, so that as we go along, we're able to feel safe and free to share things.
Yeah, yeah, bro. That's real, man. And you dropped some wisdom there, bro. You talking about the feelings wheel. I love that, bro, because um like you said, we kind of reduce our emotional bandwidth down to like just a few emotions. Like we're angry, we're mad, we're upset, which are really a lot of the same thing, a lot of the
Yeah.
same things. But one of the things that I've learned over the years is like all those things are secondary emotions, right? They're emotions usually like they kind of come out in defense, like I have to stand up for myself, or I have to, I'm fighting back. I don't. They usually cover something much more vulnerable. I don't say usually. They generally do. Like when I get in, if I were to get in an argument with my wife and she's angry at me or I'm angry at her, uh, maybe maybe the emotion undergirding that is like disappointment. Like, but we don't say that. We just mad. We slam a cabinet door, or we go to our room, or you know what I'm saying. We like, I'm going to hang out with my friends, whatever. Uh, these are just examples. I'm just saying, like, um, but ultimately, what it comes down to is, I think now that I have expanded my vocabulary, my emotional vocabulary or acumen, I can just say like I do feel angry, but I'm angry because I'm disappointed, and that's huge. like as far as her and I's connection, and she can do the same. You know, she can do the same. And there's just so many things that so many expectations that husbands and wives have for each other. Um, and if we are not able to communicate them, we really kind of stunting our growth as individuals and as a couple. Um, I remember playing with my son, and we were like on the back patios, like during the summer. I think I was cooking out or something like that, and he was being real playful, and I was like, okay, I got to get back to cooking, and he like jumped up in my arms, and I was holding him, and I was like, okay, I got to put you down, and I dropped him, like I dropped, he wasn't hurt, but he landed on his bottom on the ground, and I was like, oh man, I'm so sorry, but he looked completely devastated. And I
Mhm.
was like, "Son, are you okay?" He wasn't crying because it didn't hurt him that bad, but he was like, "Dad, you dropped me," and I
Mm.
was like, he said that like it had never happened before because it happened. It hasn't,
Yeah.
but to him, you know what I'm saying? He was what, 4 or 5 years old. To him, like that's not something you do. Like you don't drop me. Like I feel safe in your arms. And so like he couldn't have expressed that the way I'm expressing it now, but like that's kind of as a father, that's kind of how I'm reflecting. Like, oh man, like you know, that was he had felt vulnerable, and maybe not secured as he normally does, and he was communicating that to me, and it just goes to show, like he could have got mad, he could have stomped off, he could have because that's what grown folks do. We get mad,
I'm out of here.
right? We get passive aggressive. You know what I'm saying? We start throwing mean looks, glances. But if my son can like communicate it, I know we can. I know we can.
Yeah. Man, when you guys talking about that, reminded me of something, man. So, I don't know what and I think this was before me and my wife got married, but it was just I things I'm passionate about. I can really, it's like it's a no brainer. We can have that conversation, right? But I don't remember what the situation was, but I was just like, I'm out of here, and I was gone for probably 4 or 5 hours or something.
Mm,
But the conversation we had afterward, it was just so awesome because of her, not because of me, but it was because of her. And and I think I've said it before. Women are like dentists. They know how to pull the right teeth, and that's what she did. She just and uh, even though the situation was what it was, she was able to talk it out and get what was needed to be uh, get what was needed out of me, right? And rectify the situation. And just women are just so amazing at that. And on the other end, oftentimes I feel like she's the FBI and I get frustrated, right? It's like you keep asking me these questions, right?
right.
But but man, yeah, but it kind of made me think about that. But it's just we have to grasp really the weight of emotions and how they play upon us in life.
Yeah, bro.
Because everything, no matter what, whether you at work, you driving down the street, right? I used to, man, work when I used to drive for work. I was getting middle fingers every other day, right? Because people feel like you going slow. Our vans only go a certain speed, so it's like people, they feel like you not doing what you're doing, they get mad, and I would just laugh,
Mhm.
right? Because you're not gonna get no road rage out of me. I just laugh because guess what? I still got to get where I got to get to, and I'm gonna get there. You and most people are in a hurry for nothing because speeding ain't gonna get you there no quicker. People think so, but if you look, speeding is not gonna get you to where you're going any quicker, right? So,
Right.
but yeah, that emotional part, man, we have to take hold of, and we have to tame the emotional dragon.
Yeah. Yeah, man, and just kind of hearing Brother Shante, man, fellas, if y'all listening, man, Google an emotional wheel, even just a list of emotions. Like when you're feeling some type of way and you just mad and you don't know, you're not sure how to communicate it, and look at one of those lists, man. Pick out all the things. It might be a combination of things, and go communicate that to your partner, your better half, and because it'll really kind of open up your awareness. That's one of our coaching tricks. Is we want to really open up awareness, and it's a personal ownership, right? Because you actually identify, um, but we just we don't keep that list of emotions. It's not something that we develop in as young boys, like a list of all the possible emotions. The human experience is pretty vast. But so that's one of the ways I think you can really, that's a tool, that's a key right there. You can take with you, um, and whenever you communicate, even if you're going into a work meeting and you just, what I'm saying, something popped off and you was just mad, you don't know how to talk about it. Pull up that emotions list. Maybe you don't want to spill all the beans like you would to your wife, but like at least you'll have a better handle on what you were going through at a particular period in time. It's I promise you, it's a game changer. It's a game changer. Yeah, man. So we're wrapping up, man, episode 3, season 2. Man, we talked about a lot of stuff today. We just want to invite y'all to the conversation. I see my my grandma jumped in. Uh,
What's up,
showing
Granny?
us some love, Nana. Actually, we call her Nana. So,
Oh, Nana. Hey, Nana.
but this is the Brothers in Influence podcast. Shout out to our third, Sherrod Ledet with the Ledet Partners, the growth coach of Greater Lexington, and his oldest daughter, Lydia, out there competing, breaking records on the track field.
Woo, woo.
Great. So we don't, we miss you, brother, but we know, hey, this is life, leadership, and community, and you doing life right, and you leading well by being present for your children and your family, and in times like this. So we're supporting and holding it down without you, bro. We love you, and bro, man, Shante, you dropped so much wisdom today, man. But you got any final words?
Yeah, I just, as we're coming out of this pandemic, I just encourage everyone to uh stay focused, uh get your mental straight, uh and keep working hard, life, leadership, and community.
Yes, sir. We out.